I back and back.
Wow.
Back. And it's like we've been gone for a minute. Welcome
Week
back
off.
to the couch. We got Big Worm with the perm.
Yeah.
We got Big A, Big Walter Gamma. We got Coach McCowan in the house with us this morning. He coming in, sitting in for the not so funny man, Derek Keenan.
We need some intelligence on the stage.
Man.
Call him Professor. His name gonna be Professor while he up here.
Coach-
Coach of college, Professor.
But say, man, before we get going, I need to give a huge shout out to Shaniqua Henry.
Sir.
Donovan, are you following me? On her commitment to Euler yesterday. She's a former Pleasant Grove Hawk basketball star. She went to the JUCO route, and now she's found her destination, and she's going to Euler. So a huge shout out to Shaniqua Henry and the family of hers for her, reaching her. One of her goals was just to play D1 basketball.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Always a great feeling to like her and T play right down the road from each other. Kind of makes it easy for the family.
Yeah, you're right. It ain't too far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also need to give another shout out to my boy, Big Marcus Burris, MJ, for his one hell of a spring game he had last Saturday.
Yeah.
He called me. I don't think he took a shower before he called me. I think as soon as he got off that field, he was FaceTiming me.
They were playing him at DN too, wasn't they?
Yeah, he did both.
Mm-hmm.
Which he had sacks at both.
Yep. That's what's up.
Well, he pushed that line around.
Boy.
Yeah.
Together.
It just showed how versatile he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That you can roll him inside or he can play outside versus quarterback.
Look, you can tell you look good too in the pass, man.
Yeah, big old boy.
Yeah, he just look lean.
Yeah. But shout out to him though. He really excited. He got some good feedback yesterday from the coaches.
As you should.
From his play. Cause it was something they said he could have did better, but they did give him a whole lot of props for his performance though. So he's excited. That was just kind of real like he been practicing, but that's not his first pretty much game since his junior year,
Coach,
high school.
Yeah.
Coach McCown, how that work? When a coach you tell it something they could have done better, like especially during end game.
Well, you want to tell them something because you don't want them to just think this everything is perfect. It's never perfect,
Yeah.
so you always got to give them something to get better at, critique them a little bit. And obviously Marcus, coaching him, he's probably the best kid I've ever had that has the best hands and feet, especially for his size. It's just unbelievable how quick he is and his hands are. So you always tell them something they need to work on just because you don't want them to get a little too full of themselves. And you can always get better.
Right,
You can always
right.
get better.
Well, anyhow, man, I finally got caught up with Snowfall. I finally got caught up with Snowfall the other day. Man, that's a good show. Those you ain't watching, you need to watch Snowfall. It was on FX.
I told
Yeah.
y'all the kind of lifestyle they really wanted to live if he could do.
That's
I always talk
funny.
about
Hey, but Snowfall, it's a good show.
these street leaguers, these street shows. We're talking about these street pharmacists.
Hey, what I just said, but hey, James, this season ain't trash, man. You just gotta understand. You gotta follow. There's some things I probably would want to change in it, but it's still been good.
Franklin tripping. That's all I got to say.
Who?
Franklin tripping. That's all I
How
got.
Frank the tripping?
He tripping, man.
Frank is trying to get to that money.
He said they lost me with the Tiger.
Yeah, they did though, for real. That was,
Yeah, I didn't like that.
even the last episode, I'm like, what we doing?
Yeah, it's still a good series though.
I'm the only one that never seen it before. I
No,
ain't never watched it.
hey, we've never
Coach.
seen it
Oh,
before.
okay, yeah, I've never
Hey,
seen the show
it's
before.
a good
Coach,
show.
don't even watch it.
It's a good show.
Yeah, nah,
We've
I'm
never
good.
seen it. Man, I'm good on that.
It's one of those shows you gotta watch when your kid's like in the bed, and it's on TV.
It's ATVMA.
So The whole Tiger situation, though.
Yeah, I didn't care for that. That didn't make any sense. But anyway, it's still good to me. Do y'all watch Top Boy on Netflix?
No.
Who?
Top Boy.
Is that the show Drake produced over in
Yeah.
Great Britain? Yeah, I saw the little preview of it. I'm watching another show right now. I was gonna get on that next. So I was gonna get on that one next.
I done ran down through that too. So
Is it good?
yeah.
It's called Top Boy?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never seen that.
I know where your head just went.
You know he,
Yeah.
You know what he played.
Video. Check this out. So, I was just thinking about we normally do these little shows where we don't talk necessarily about all category of sports, but a particular subject. And going out to these ballparks, whether it's football or baseball, you can even say soccer, whatever. I'm sure whatever sport going on, you can go out there and see what takes place when it comes to the parents and the kids. So I came with this topic: parent added pressure. So we're gonna talk about it. And of course, if you ask me, certain kids already have this large amount of pressure to get out of the current living situation that they're in. You have some kids who don't have the pressure of a certain living condition, but they have some pressure of living up to parent standards. And then you throw on top of they play sports. And of course, everybody that has a kid that participates in sports, at one point you can all say you was guilty.
Of course.
And the question is, do parents put too much added pressure to the kid that already has a large amount of pressure? Because one, just as well as we know, we grown now, so kind of the peer pressure is stuff that we don't necessarily have to deal with. I hope grown-ups don't. But the society pressure to fit in is enough pressure on kids these days also. So the question is, do us as parents that have kids that participate in sports put on too much pressure of that particular kid, whatever particular sport they playing, to be like excellent, like no mistakes?
Well, I just to jump in on that one first, since I don't want to step on nobody's toes. You see it. Obviously right now I coach my son's little travel team, and you see it every weekend when we go play places. How parents are, it's the difference between pushing your kids when your kids just play hard, get better, and have fun, but they're trying to get the wins, and for me, what I see, it look like they feel like it's an indictment on them as a parent if their kid doesn't play well, or if their kid doesn't score 25 points, and they're getting on their kid. I watched the team we played out of the Metroplex area this past weekend. I saw dad take his son out of the gym when they lost by 2, and he's basically shoving his son out the door, telling him what he should have done better and what he didn't do better. And the young man played well. And like I said, everybody can't score 25 points. These kids are 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, trying to learn and just get some character. And that's, as a parent, for me, when I'm coaching my son, do I get on him some? Absolutely. But my thing is more so, are you having fun? Do you feel like you're improving? Do you want to keep doing this? You want to keep doing this? But you got to learn how to work hard. So what I try to work with him is work ethic. Yeah. But I feel like most parents, they look at it as an indictment on them as a parent if their child isn't the best player on the team.
Right.
And that's probably the most disappointing thing that I've learned about youth sports these last 2 years since I've been out of high school coaching. And obviously when you coach high school, you're not really around the parents, and so you don't have to really deal with it or hear it as much. But when you're with youth sports, you hear it, and it's really a sad state where you see it at right now. And it's the same in education. You see the same parents in the education system as well. And I'm sorry if I'm preaching, but you get that, where parents, they just feel like if their kid isn't doing up to their standards, that it is an indictment on them as a parent. And sometimes your kid is just a late bloomer. Your kid might pop later. Your kid, example, you just talked about the young man who wasn't even known in the state of Texas until his junior year. That was Marcus Burris. Kids pop different. Kids come out different and get better at different times, and so you just can't. You can't just put that pressure on those kids. So I was on my soapbox right there, and I've been watching for about a month now, so I had to say that.
It's the truth, though, because there's a difference between getting on your kid for the lack of effort.
Correct.
Versus, they're giving it, they're not winning, or
Correct.
they're like striking out or not catching the ball or making a wrong read. Those things are going to happen, especially when you're dealing with the ages. Like, so you deal with more or less. Well, no, you got a young baby, so you're dealing with the young kids, and so walking between, you seeing it from the basketball side, I see it a lot being a commissioner of baseball. Number one, they're kids. These are kids we're talking about, right? At the level, they're going to have fun. They're going to do what they do.
Baseball is even worse. He's playing baseball for the first time, and oh my gosh,
it's worse.
Unbelievable.
It is worse. It's bad. And so the expectations from these parents to this baby who can't catch a fly ball, who this baby can't throw the ball to hit the first, is bad. We forget that this is a sport that this might be just memories. This might not even happen. It might not even work out for them 3 years from now, a year from now.
I'll piggyback on this one though, Corey. Too. We was in Shreveport for it. This is my son's first year playing baseball, so he's learning. He's struggling, and that's fine. He's having fun though. I was watching a little coach pitch game going on. These kids, like they were 7 or 8, and I had a couple of parents that walked by me. It was a mom and dad, and they were telling their son, "Good job," which is as you want to tell them. But then they look at another dude. Yeah, my son. I mean, he's just gonna be a stud right now. I'm like, dude, he's 7. Like, you tell. Like, he's just playing coach pitch. He's got hand-eye coordination right now. He's 7 years old. Like, calm down. Just let the kid have fun.
They don't. But that's that pressure on those kids, man. You see those kids. I'm watching those kids crumble, cry in the game. Like they're struggling already, and they hear the stands, then they miss the ball, then they strike out or they pop out, and man, you see the added emotion because somewhere that kid knows when they get in the car or when he get, that he's finna hear it, like Walt be doing. But
that's why I ain't said that yet.
It is like he's 7. What he gonna do? I mean, he's not getting paid.
I mean, and you also can realize this though when it comes to sports. Certain kids be very dominant.
Exactly.
At a certain age.
Correct.
Yes.
Once they
peak different times.
Yes.
Different
once
times.
they get once the other kids finally start developing some, their dominance disappears. Now that kid that once used to dominate, now he's just as equal to other kids.
Right.
And I always like to play devil's advocate because I'm always on the kid side.
Of course.
With a lot of these the parents that does apply all this ungodly amount of pressure. Some of these parents as parents, it's not living up to the standards as being a parent. So they might want to do a role reversal and put pressure on their parenting skills, such as put more emphasis on and more pressure on. Do you have A's and B's?
Correct.
That's what energy. Put it there.
Or not so much on sports. See, in course, in our own community, they preach or that they make it to the point where they put in these kids' heads the only way to get out of current situation is through sports. I think we're damaging these kids by putting that expectation. You can get out of this situation through sports, and pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the other stuff caves in. Grades not as good as it should be because they're not concerned about the grades.
Right.
They're only concerned about what they're doing on those fields of courts.
Right. And they don't get it. There are millions of people across the globe with the same mindset.
Right.
And so we're talking about a sport that has how many football teams are there?
A lot.
How many basketball teams are there?
Mm-hmm.
And so, we're talking about adding pressure to kids that, they always say in the NFL, what, the 1% make it?
Mm-hmm.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. Yeah, that's not true. So,
I don't know. My thing with it is this, because I ride my son, and I'm gonna ride him until the straps break and he needs some new ones. But my thing is this, like Donnie said, you got some kids that are already kind of there. You can tell but I think some kids hold themselves at a spot because they're down on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Some kids hold themselves at expectations even at a young age. So my thing is this: why shouldn't I give you the energy that you hold yourself at? That's where I'm at with it. Even in the classroom, because in order to play at our house, you got to have straight A's. He got them too.
What I would say on that one is I'm not disagreeing with you. That's correct. What I'm saying is, when you hold your kids high standards, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's not the point. The point is
However,
when they're beating them down and they're making it like, it's almost what I'm saying. What Donnie is saying is, this is your only way out. This is it. And
Right.
if you don't go play Division I, that's because that's what everybody wants to talk about. Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, all of it's good. If you make it to any of that, that's great.
Right.
You're one of the 5% kids who play at the next level. It's not the end of the world. So what you're saying is not incorrect. I push my son, I push my daughter, but we also emphasize grades. I don't necessarily say they got to make straight A's because if
they don't have to make straight A's.
I know what you're saying.
But that's what we shoot for it.
Absolutely.
We're going to shoot for it.
Do the best that you can. If you give me your best effort, you studying every day. And again, kids pop at different times.
Right.
I look at it more so when I go back home and I see all my younger cousins and stuff, and a lot of them do play sports. And and this is where I always preach about, representation means everything, and people don't understand that. They think you're trying to be like, we're trying to take over everything. Representation is when kids see people that look like them in a place that they not expected to be at. It's just not necessarily sports. It can be an education. It can be running a bank. Kids see that now, they want to shoot for that as well. Like, oh, I can get there. And so that's the most important thing is we as in the black community especially is we can't just emphasize playing football, basketball, and baseball, making it. You got people who are managers at a bank, who are managers in retail, who are educators, who are principals, who are superintendents, or just teachers.
Yeah.
That right there shows you don't have to just play sports to make it out. As long as you get good grades and take care of yourself, you can be successful in life. Everybody doesn't make $1 million.
Right.
Just because you don't make $1 million doesn't mean you're unsuccessful. If you're living a comfortable life, you go get you a house, you take care of your family, that's successful.
Right.
And so I think that's what we have to focus on. That's the one thing that I know that you're probably telling your kids. I'm telling my kids the same thing. As long as you're happy and you're doing the best that you can, that's all we can ask. The problem is we got parents who don't think like that, and which that's fine. That's you raise your child how you want to raise them, but you're also taking that kid's confidence away, and he's afraid to make a mistake. He's afraid to, if I bring home a bad grade, what's they gonna say to me? If I miss a fly ball, if I miss a jump shot, what are they gonna say to me in the car when I get home?
And if you look at some of those kids that have those parents, you look at the performance in the classroom and it's very low.
Because they're terrified to make a mistake.
It's very low, or they're so sports driven by parenting that their grades. I mean, I see it, or they're in trouble in school. They're in ISS. I see it all the time because I'm around it. I hear of a kid that he's a great athlete, but he's always in trouble at school, and so there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no consequence for his behavior in school because he's so good at sports. And we'll post it on social media that, oh, my baby scored 4 touchdowns, he hit 22 points. But did you post he been in ISS for the last 4 days for behavior? So you can't do that. You have to focus on more of where's the issue at. The real issue is that his behavior, and his behavior could one day land him in jail and out of sports. So
it stops being cute after you hit 18. So,
right.
But another one of my things too is, because with my son, because I'm on him like I am, is I try to teach him. That's why, like, as far as people that I keep, as far as adults that interact with him, like Donnie, we go to Donnie's and work out. Okay, we've been going out there forever. But I know Donnie's going to treat him the same way that I do to an extent. And it's not so much of riding him so much. Sometimes I have to get my boys, because I got 3 boys, I got to get my boys prepared for the world.
Absolutely.
And that's one of my most pet peeves that I try to teach my kids is that it's like this: no matter how good you are at something, and no matter how good of a kid you are, the world's not going to treat you like your grandma and your mom. So therefore, before I let them go to, if they're going to school for academics or sports or whatever it is, it's my job to give them a taste of the way they're going to treat them when they don't perform. So when they do get there, they don't get, it's not a total slap in the face. It's not the big stamp, welcome to the real world. And I feel like if I don't give them that type of energy, that I've already failed them no matter what I teach them.
It's a very good point. I piggyback off that. My mom told me when I was younger, my dad died when I was 4. And so I would try to use that excuse, and I would get older at times. And my mom finally just told me, she's a coach too. She was just like, Dwight, nobody cares.
Right.
She's like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your problems or your issues. No. Everybody has them. You need to be finding solutions to your problem instead of trying to complain about them. And that stuck with me she told me when I was 13 years old, and that always stuck with me. And that's something that's similar to what you're saying. That's the same thing I tell my son and daughter now. Just nobody cares. You gotta push through.
Right.
If you want to succeed, you got to keep pushing through, because in life, we all know it. Bills ain't gonna stop coming in.
No.
Donnie rolled his ankle. He can't go to work for 3 days. His water bill still coming in. You still got to pay your bills, and so you can't just make excuses. I think that's what you're really trying to say overall. Is
right.
You trying to teach your kids, you don't make excuses. And that's what we all think. I feel like we all as parents are saying, you can't make excuses.
Right.
You still have to do the best that you can to take care of what you got to take care of.
Right.
I'm gonna give a story. When I was coaching baseball years ago, my oldest was 10. And we was at a ballpark, and we were playing a particular team. Keep in mind, this kid is 10 years old. So here goes a good story of how much pressure parents put on kids in sports. Now, this is a championship. We playing baseball, championship game. We was on. My particular team was on defense. We was in the field. The other team was batting. Where this particular kid hit a pop-up. It went for 3 outs. So they going back to the dugout. The kid's coming out of the dugout because the kid was headed to the mound to pitch. And his dad was the head coach of the team. He slapped him. All because he popped out. So this kid then goes to the mound and has to be able to get himself together so he can pitch. Well, he couldn't. I had to walk out there because nobody else did. So I had to walk out there and try to talk to him. I didn't know the kid. And of course, I said some things I can't say on the air to his dad. But the kid had to get off the mound because he couldn't pitch. But that's the type of pressure that dad put on that kid to where he's not even allowed to hit a baseball that's going to be an out. So he's supposed to go to the plate and make a base hit every time. No, it's not. The major leagues don't even do it. So why would we put the expectation on a kid to do some things when you got guys making $50 million a year? They're not doing it.
Correct.
Right.
And they're at the peak of the game. But yeah, we expect a little league kid to go out there and do something Major League Baseball players don't do, because they playing their peers just as well as Major League Baseballs or professional guys. They playing their peers. So that's what I'm saying. We put pressure on kids to perform a certain way that the guys that's at the peak level, they're not even doing it game in after game.
Right.
They have some bad games. So that was just another example that, that's, to me, that's pressure, and then of course the dad, he lashed out on the kid because of the incident.
Right. Ignorant expectations.
But
yeah.
I think a lot, and you can tell the ones, I know y'all done seen them. You can tell the ones that are really on their kids' butts because they want them to do good, and then you can tell the ones that are trying to live through their kids.
Yep.
The ones that live through their kids is probably the one that slapped the crap out of that kid that you just said. And then those are the ones that I see the most. Like I said, you can always tell the ones that are really trying to push the kid to get some, next level or whatever they're doing. But then you got those ones that you, before the games, are sitting up against the fence with their coaches talking about what they used to be back in 1989 or 95. And you can tell that kid is probably pretty miserable when they're out playing.
One thing parents must learn, going crazy during the situation of a game, and the pressure of, you're adding all this pressure to this kid about what they're not doing. But that one question I would have, what are you doing to help them get better in this situation?
Right.
What approach are you taking to say, hey, I see you where you're struggling at in this situation. I know you can't hit well. I'm going to try to help you, or I'm going to try to get you some help to make you better, And then, it's just your approach. It's how you approach. I approach my baby like that all the time. I let my little boy tell me what he want to go hit. I let him tell me when he want to go play catch. When we get home, it's not on me. It's on him. He's a little boy. He plays video games. He likes to run through the house. But once he picked that glove up, I respond to him. I respond to him, and he's not responding to me. I'm not saying, hey, you can go hit today. No. He'll get in the car. Daddy, can we go hit? Why not? Let's go hit. And so take away the pressure. By the way, he is 7. He is 6. So that's what I'm saying. So take away the pressure. These kids they don't respond well to threats. And that added pressure is nothing but a threat if you don't do. Why are you doing this? That's a threat. Why punish your kid because he's a kid? Right? People punish their kids because they make a mistake, they're horsing around sometimes. So there's a time, now during the game, if he go jump on somebody and run through the field, start sliding through the dirt, that's another issue you're dealing with. But if they're not catching the ball, they're not making if they shoot an air ball, if they run the wrong way sometimes, that's no reason to blatantly just go crazy on this child. We're not talking about teenagers. We're not just talking about teenagers alone. We're talking about all ages. And if you come to the baseball field tonight, Thursday or Friday at Spring Lake Park, you're going to see this happen. Mm-hmm. You're going to see people go crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's why I always sit away from the stands.
See, my thing, for one, they play youth sports, so that means they still the youth. But we put these, we want them to, especially the younger kids that still want to go out there and play with Tonka trucks.
Right.
We want them to stay a kid, but we want them to grow up so fast in the sport that we forget they're a kid.
Right.
That same kid likes to play in the dirt, but yet you want him to go out here and go 4 for 4 at the plate. And what was crazy, when you go out to some of these ball parks, because we're in baseball season now, and you will see a kid go to the plate, they can't even hold a bat. Don't know which way to hold the bat. Hands be crossed. And then he gets up there and strikes out, and you fussing at him.
What have you done?
What did you expect? He can't even hold the bat correct. So you really think he's gonna hit the ball? But yet you fuss at him all the way back to the dugout. Like that's the amount of pressure that what I'm getting at, because for one, I'm sure for him or her to go to the plate and don't know how to hold the bat proper, that means you ain't showing them at home.
Right.
So, he got coaches that practice once or twice a week, but you with him 7 days. Right. You with her 7 days.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
You can't take the time when you see everything else everybody else seeing and try to correct it, but no, you wait till game day. And then when they get out there, and since that's your child, kind of what Coach McCarron said, just like a reflection of you. So the fact that now he's looking like, or she looking like they not an athlete now. And keep in mind, majority of people that fuss and yell at these kids, they weren't an athlete either.
No.
So let's keep in mind they wasn't an athlete either. But what they want their child to be was such a thing called genetics. Good chance you didn't have genetics, your son not gonna have them. Your daughter's not gonna have them. so, but yet you get to the game day again, and you wanna raise all type of hell to your kid for not living to the expectations that you thought they should have, and again, they can't even hold it back proper.
Man, I just gotta say, you come to T-ball, the beginning of it all, and the expectations is high there. For no reason.
For no reason.
For no reason.
No reason
whatsoever.
There's no reason to have high
the most
expectations.
recreational thing you can get in the sport is T-ball.
At least beginners T-ball.
It's supposed to be
anyway.
the grandparent picture taking, and man, there's more issues, added pressure to kids than I see in T-ball.
I've stayed away from that stuff.
T-ball. I mean, come on, we going crazy on the kid because they didn't run to the base.
Yeah.
Or the kid got knocked over. We talking about a 5-year-old knocking over a 5-year-old because he's big and one smaller. And we are adding anxiety and trauma to these kids at an early stage. And they don't understand none of that. They don't understand none of that what's going on, man.
But I will say this, though. That what we're talking about does not mean don't get on your kids about it, though, to an extent. Don't get on them till it's not fun no more. You're still supposed to get on to them. You're still supposed to correct the things that they're not doing right, especially if you're spending hundreds of dollars a week on these practices and these gyms and these workouts. You build them up, but if you got to break them down just a little bit, because I'm going to still break it down, especially when you're just being foolish out there.
But break it down for what? You like?
Because I am. Because I'm gonna get them like that ride home. That ride home going to be ugly if you out here wasting my time.
Well, there you go. You just said with the I had a problem with the parents.
Call it what you want to call
your
it.
Time.
But like I said, if I take all my time to make you sure that you're practicing and making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to and making sure of this, you know when it's time to get down and you know when it's time not to.
For me, that's the added pressure.
I mean, well, that's I guess.
I mean, but there's a way to do it. I mean, you can still do it, but
exactly.
But is it to the point where you destroy their mental?
Yeah.
No.
And see, people don't realize again because up here a lot. I'm a mental health advocate. I speak on a lot up here.
Yeah.
Mental health is real, and it doesn't start when you old. It starts at any age. Parents don't know what they're doing to a kid's mental by the approach they may be taking when it comes to this sports. They could be destroying their kid mental to the point where it's going to really mess his mental as a human being, period.
Right.
See, that's some of the stuff that has to be taken account of too, because again, mental health is real out here, and again, it doesn't start at a certain age.
Right.
So to me, I give it wild. I mean, you can be stern but at what point do you okay? Well, I did too much, because this could be affecting him in ways I can only imagine. Kids are not. We got adults that's not full control of their emotions.
Right.
So I'd be down for kids gonna be able to control theirs.
Yeah.
So a kid may not know how to express or handle the whatever type of approach is being thrown at them. So because you could be destroying them mentally without even knowing.
Right.
See, that's some of the things that parents don't have to be aware of with the amount of pressure that you may be putting on your child. Are you screwing up their mental? You don't know that. There's no signs. There's like no kind of like those
red flags.
Yeah,
right.
To where it's like visible to where you can see a gauge temperature rising. Okay, well I'm about to mess his mental stage up, so let me back down. There's no gauge on it. There's no signs that tell you that you're going overboard.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing to that kid.
But studies have shown that. I mean, these are just studies that kids at that age, when they break down, that crying is their trauma. Crying is their expression of like you own them about something like that, and that's their trauma because they have no expression. And so either I can look at my daughter sometimes, and we may be hitting in the cage or something like that, and I say something, and like her foot, I said, I just told you about the back foot coming. You gotta keep it on the ground. So that face breaks down. She started expressing how she's finna start feeling like right there. So I have to approach it. I have to approach it differently, like with a drill, or maybe show her why her foot should stay down. I can't I can't treat her like I treat Julian or like I treated Jayla, because she's going to express to me how she feels. And it's not because she's a girl. It's because of her emotions. she's emotional. She don't understand it. She'll look at me, and I can tell when she's about to break, and so I have to approach it differently with her. And I think parents need to learn how to approach their kids when it's sports. You don't have to yell. You don't have to fuss to get something done. Now, you fuss when they're acting up. Now, I do fuss with my kids when they're acting up. I whoop their butt. But however, when it comes to sports, man, it's just different because it's not important to me. I love them playing, but that part I learned raising an older child that's just added pressure. I remember, man, and I'll tell this story. Jalen, we was about to win a championship game. He hit the ball right field, right? He rolling. He get around third base and he falls and has to get back to third. He's like 10, right? He's 10 years old. And he came to the sideline. I ain't even coaching the game. I'm outside, and I lose it. Right? Like, how you gonna fall? We end up losing because everybody else got out. I was, how you gonna fall? And so I'm yelling, and that story has like, from that point it happened, I got in my car. It bothered me for that long to now. Like,
because he didn't try to fall.
He didn't try to fall.
Right. He just failed.
He failed going around the bases, trying to turn the base. And I realized, like, was that even that important for me to yell at him like that? And how he gonna fall? And so that's when Donnie was saying earlier in the show about being guilty.
Right.
I made it my business not to do that no more. To no kid, especially my own.
I'll say just because I have been coaching for a while, the older kids, but like I said, I coached my son this year, and we coached in PGY basketball, and that was a whole nother mess right there itself. But we were playing in a little playoff game, and my son had played well, and I think he was like 5 for 5 from the free throw line or something like that. And he goes to the line, and we're playing a bunch of sixth graders, bigger kids. And so my expectations already were we'd probably come up short just because the age gap. Those kids are bigger. But my son goes to the line with about 8 seconds left, and he hits the first, ties the game, and he shoots the second one. He shot it short, misses it. We go to overtime. We lose in overtime, and he's upset a little bit. He's not a big crier. He just more kind of puts his head down. We get in the car, and he's like, "Daddy, I'm sorry." I said, "Sorry for what?" He said, "I missed the free throw." I said, "Yeah, you hit 6 out of 7 free throws. You scored. You played defense. You defended a kid who was a foot taller than you. He had rebounds." I said, "I'm not focusing on the one missed free throw," and because he put his head down about it, and after I told him that, he kind of was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "You didn't try to miss it. You just missed a shot." And then I gave him a story about when I played. And usually my son, he can care less about when I play. He doesn't even care. He's just like, whatever,
right.
But I told him a story that I came in the game, and I missed a free throw to send us to overtime, and it lost the game for us. And he said, did Granny get on you? I said, no, Granny told me the same thing. If you didn't do X, Y, and Z early in the game, we wouldn't be in that position anyway. If you didn't get that steal early in the game, if you didn't hit that three-pointer early in the game, we wouldn't be in that position to make the free throw anyway. So you can't take just that one mess up. So my whole point of that story is I was more so trying to build him up and not even discuss the negative or he calls perceived negative of missing that one shot. It was like, nah, man, it's fine. You go back and you keep working on it. You just shot it short. It happens. Just like Jalen. 100% sure Jalen didn't try to fall when he ran on third base.
No.
He just stumbled. It happens in the pros. It happens in college. It just happens like that. That's sports. That's why we love sports. That's the beauty of sports, and that's the part that hurts you too. Is because somebody has to win, and that's what I'm talking about. I said somebody had to win, somebody had to lose.
Right.
This time we lost. I said Tuesday night when we won, we were on cloud 9. We were happy, and the other team lost. And so you just on both sides of the fence.
Somebody got to be there.
Somebody has to be there, and I think that's the part where when I was doing his little team this during the winter break, coaching them. I think that was probably the most disappointing thing that I saw at how I saw the behavior of the parents in the stands, and I even had one come out the stands at me. You know what I mean? And it's like this is crazy. Like what is wrong with you guys here, man? And so I remember telling my wife, I was like, I'm retired from coaching PGY basketball.
One of my worst things that I do. Well, I don't think it's bad.
Let's hear it.
I don't think that. I mean, I don't. But after a game, my son knows not to come to me to pat him on his back. I tell him during the game, you're doing good, whatever. But he knows after we done, when he comes to me, it's time for us to talk about what you didn't do. I don't care if he won or lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not immediately after the game. Oh, you didn't do
But everybody's philosophy is different. Even when I coach in high school, like we use Tavondre them as an example. And no matter if we play good or bad, no matter if after we beat Paris last year to take first place in district, I never addressed the team right after the game. Hey, say, hey man, y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk on Saturday. Saturday we watch film session. Like whatever it is, it can be good or bad. I want you to just let your mind rest. And so what I'm saying, you're not wrong. Everybody handles things. Their philosophy is just different. Right. That's all it is. Just to have a different philosophy of how to address certain situations.
Like even with my wife, she gets mad at me because I don't sit there and like, oh man, you just so good and you did so good. I'm gonna let them tell.
Yeah, you can't do that either.
I'm gonna let them. Well, I'm gonna let them tell you did good and you did this and that. But then, especially with football last year. He was really a nervous wreck when he looked up and seen dude over there. He's like, "Hey, Donnie, watch it." I said, "Yeah, he watching, man. You better come on." And then during halftime, he'd run over there, and Donnie tell him the same thing. Hey, man, you don't need to worry about no sacks. You need to worry about what you're doing. Like you need to pay attention to what's going on out here, and that's more my approach to all of it. Because one of the worst things that I feel in sports, period. What that boy Pressure used to say, you over here hyping up nothing. I'm not going to hype you up. If you need a hype man, your mom's in the stands. I'm just here to kind of correct what you do, and I probably get a little crazy sometimes. I know I get crazy sometimes. And I probably say a lot of stuff I'm not supposed to.
I think you need a counselor.
I probably do need some counseling, but at the end of the day, I think my crazy comes because I'm just so passionate about my children. You know what I'm saying? My family comes first before anything, and when they're really good at something, I just get passionate about it, and I'm probably just a little crazy. But I'm passionate for the other kids too.
Everybody's passionate in express it in different ways.
Right.
That's just how we are. I think I'm more of a chill, laid back person. Yeah. Everybody just takes it different ways, and you express it different ways. Right. So your method isn't any wrong than my method or Corey's method or Donnie's method. It's just that's you. That's how you want to raise and get your kids ready. Our point was, and I think Donnie, what he was trying to say, and what we all been trying to say is there's a point of being building your kids up and getting them better and wanting the best for them but the other point is living through your child and tearing them down and constantly being negative and putting pressure saying you can't go to school unless you get a college scholarship.
Right.
I mean, I've heard parents say that, and it's like, what? Yeah. Like that blows my mind.
Right.
Like that is the craziest thing ever. So you mean tell me your kid can't go to trade school and pick up a trade? Yeah. That's like, come on. Like you can't just say it's end all be all.
Right.
You're gonna be a sports. You're gonna play sports, or you're done. Right. And that's what's wrong. And that goes all the way back to the beginning, what Donnie was talking about in the community of it's sports or you on the streets.
Yeah.
There's no absolute on that. Like, so you mean to tell me what Donnie does for a living, it means he's not successful? I mean, so that's all. I always go back to that. You got plenty of uncles and aunts you can look up to. You ain't got to be your parents. Right. They're not playing sports. Man, look like their grocery, their refrigerator always got food in it. Right. Their electricity on. They got TV on at the house. Right. Like that's successful.
Yeah. See, but I will say this much. The reason why I have backed off of him a little bit, because like Donnie was saying earlier, like with their grades, y'all were talking about their grades, like why you worried about these sports, you need to make sure they're getting their lesson. Yeah. He came to the house, straight A's student, he good, he's cool. We don't care about B's, that's fine too. But he did some kind of test here recently. I don't know how the school testing goes, but he was in such a rush because he knew what was going on. That dude
probably forgot benchmark test.
Well, it was something, but he was it was before their benchmark. Okay. It was kind of like, I guess, getting prepared for it. But he was in such a hurry to get this test done because he knew it so good that the dude forgot to put his name on the paper. Okay, so paper perfect, handwriting perfect, all his spelling perfect. He pumped for it, and he got like a 87 or something for it. Crushed, dude. Like he was scared to come to the house and tell me. And he was like, oh, I gotta tell y'all something. Me and my wife was like, what's up? He's like, I made a B on this. We was like, okay.
Cool.
What's okay? He's like, it's an 87. I said, that's all right, man. I mean, you ain't gonna know everything all the time. I forgot to put my name on it. So you got an 87 putting your name on it, but it wasn't because of that. The story is because of how I don't know why you scared to tell us, but I guess it's because of trying to make him so perfect everywhere else.
Correct.
That it literally had him shook because it was an 87 on that paper.
Yeah, that's still like a 3.3 GPA. Yeah, people gonna take that right now.
I think I told Jalen when the moment he called me about what his mom about the ACT score he had made. I looked at him and said, "Dude, football don't matter now. Sports don't matter now."
No,
I said,
No, you solid.
School.
Yeah, you solid.
You good?" I said, "That's secondary now."
Yeah.
He looked at me like, "No." I said, "No, seriously, that's secondary now. What you just done in the classroom and on the test." Who cares about the sport?
And to me, when it comes to this parent pressure, the parent pressure comes from parents looking at other kids that athletic ability exceeds their child.
right.
Everybody athletic ability is not equal. If that's the case, all of us would have went professional.
Correct.
Right.
So, so there you have it. Everybody's athletic ability is not equal.
No.
I believe what parents see, they see another kid that the Lord blessed with extreme ability. They see that kid perform in a certain way. They automatically expect
The kid do the same
their
thing.
kid to do the same, where their kid is at capacity. There's no more.
And I also say too, if your kid's a younger kid, like 12 and below, just because your kid ain't the best right now,
That could
Yeah.
change.
that kid ain't hit puberty yet. Some kids peak early. Like, hey, you just keep working with your child, and then at the end, like Donnie said, sometimes your kid just ain't didn't hit the genetic lottery.
I mean, the reality. Again, see, but I
It's
do
just what it
believe that's where the
Just say
pressure
Scottie Pippen.
comes because parents see other kids excel
Right.
in whatever particular sport, so they automatically expect their kid to be just like Lil JoJo. Well, Lil JoJo's gifted.
Correct.
Lil JoJo came natural.
True.
So therefore, not being real with the situation of what it is, the parents be delusional, and they expect their kid to be what another kid is, and that kid may
Right.
not be that kid.
Yeah, your kid ain't 16 like Damian Collins, who I'm looking at on the wall right there, or
Yeah,
6'7"
right.
Landon Jackson.
Right.
He's
Jess, I'm
Right.
sorry.
It's
okay, but
that's
it's okay,
genetic.
right?
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
But then to me, that's when the parent's supposed to come in, tell them it's okay, but then you're going to have to tell them in order to beat people like that, you're just going to have to outwork them.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that.
Like, you're just going to have to outwork them. If you want to be that good, then go outwork them because they
But based off what Kyle just said, you talking about 6'10", 6'7", 6. There's no.
Yeah.
There's a different. mindset.
raw talent can always be outworked.
Not 6'7", can't.
yeah,
Can't outwork raw height.
you see, well, here's the thing: that when it comes to that, you got somebody with raw talent that don't work, and you got somebody that's busting their butt
They
to
getting
get
better.
somewhat equal. Well, all dude got to just work just a little bit.
But
He's
is he-
still gonna surpass?
But how many kids you done seen that had raw talent that didn't have a working bone in their body, though?
I seen a lot.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I didn't see a
Because
lot.
they literally thought raw talent was enough. And then you go off, and then you're the guy that has to work now.
Yeah, no, you
Because
gotta
you're
have you gotta have a work ethic.
Yeah, you
know,
gotta have
gotta
work.
work ethic, but in the same breath, you got some kids who just like we just talk about Marcus. I use him as an example. Marcus, everybody knows him. He playing football at A&M.
Mm-hmm.
If Marcus was 2 inches taller, he's a Division I basketball player. Marcus didn't shoot a ton of basketball once he got rolling in football. He just come in the gym and come up and put 25 points up.
Yeah.
That's just raw natural ability. 'Cause
Right.
he just catches the ball, post up, drop step, and he dunk on you. I mean, I didn't coach him to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't teach him to do that. Dude, he just
Yeah.
naturally can do it. But you got to have some kids who just got to be in the gym year round, shooting the basketball, trying to get better to close that gap with those kids. And that's what you're saying.
Right.
You can close the gap.
The gap can be
It can
closed.
close the gap, but you still can't. I can't teach 6'10" Damian Collins
No, you're
jumping
right,
over
you're
you,
right,
over you,
right, you're
catching the
right.
ball in there. But
Right.
but you can all of a sudden his team beating you by 35 his junior year, senior year, you guys put the work in the gym, y'all might lose by 7 or 8.
Right.
Y'all close the gap. You didn't win, you still close the gap and played
Right.
those guys closer. So
That's success, right? No.
Depends on what your expectations are.
Look, I'm expecting to win. I don't care.
If you are at a smaller school playing them, its expectations are high. We got close. If you're at Texas High or Pleasant Grove or Liberty playing them, you're like, damn, we should have won that game. Why we didn't win the game? So,
no, you better win.
I don't know, man. I just think we need to sometime as a parent need to take a back seat and actually, breathe a little bit and not put all these high extreme goals on our kids. Because some kids play sports just to have something to do, just for fun.
Right.
And that's good.
And when you have a kid that's playing for fun, just for fun, don't go out here and expect him to be Ken Griffey at the plate.
And that's where you make sure, but that's as a parent too, you make sure you put your kids in a position to be successful. So if you know your kid is not super competitive, you don't go put that kid in a super competitive league.
That's exactly.
Like, don't go send him to go play travel basketball or 7-on-7 football if he just want to go out there. Hey man, what's going on? Just shoot the breezes. But hey, you just play local and go home and have fun.
You know what? And to back what you're saying too, Coach, and don't go put a super competitive kid in the league. Vice versa.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go out and just slaughter everybody. Yeah.
Well, not even that, because I'm gonna tell you something too. I done seen a lot of people that have done that, and that kid that is really good, he end up paying the price for it. Because especially if you get stuck on a team of kids that this kid hadn't played baseball since he was 4. And now you decide to bring him out here to play baseball when he's 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it. Like, you that worked both ways too. Like, don't bring that super competitive kid to something that ain't really just super competitive and then complain about it.
Or you could have raw talent at 11 now, Walt.
Man.
Well, that's what we did. He never plays his first time, and he's on a team that we play locally here. But most of his kids on his team, we have about 3 or 4 that have played, that can play. But we have about 6, 7 of them who had never played. So we're not. I don't look at us as a super competitive team,
right?
Per se. Like I don't really know these teams around here. I know some couple of organizations around here like go play big time, been playing for a while. Like that. If I went and said, hey, I want my son to play with you guys, what the world am I doing? That's nonsense. That's me setting my child up for failure. I'm trying to set them up to just have fun.
But guess what? Yeah. So those kids in those organizations are the same.
True.
They are the same.
They are.
They are the same.
And again, that's why
I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I've willfully stayed away from it now, so I don't know who is who around here on that type of stuff.
People do it because they said just to say they're doing it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. You are right about that.
Yeah.
But when that, I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I love it. I love kids. I coach them all the time. But it's just funny when you in a serious game, man. And you got a couple kids that ain't never played no sports before, and you look back there in the dugout wherever they at, and the kid got his baseball helmet turned backwards, a red Gatorade stain down his chest, jaw full of sunflower seeds, living his best life. And that's why I'm like, man, who am I to tell him to stop right now when dude literally probably having the best time of his life. So I'm gonna let that roll, even though I know you're not gonna go out here and hit nothing, catch nothing. You're probably not throw very good neither, but I'm gonna let you live your life and have these memories with these boys.
Baseball's why you put them in outfield. Make sure they don't get hit by a line drive.
Oh, man. What, out there?
Yeah, I don't put them out there either. Ball hit the fence.
Yeah.
Hey, this happened in baseball too before. I was umpire, and this one particular kid came to the plate. He was happy to come to the plate. He's just one of those kids. He hit the plate so hard with the bat. So I'm like, whoa, what is he doing? And he did like 5 times. Then he stood the bat up to where it's straight up and down where the fat part of the bat is on the plate. He put his hands on the I guess the handle of the bat, the knob, but where his hands overlapped each other, and he laid his head down.
Y'all should have took a picture of that.
He wasn't ready, huh?
World class.
Wait, he laid his head down, so I'm looking like.
That's the nigga stand like, hey, what we doing?
Hey,
here?
what do I do here?
Time.
I mean, but that's the one of the kid. Hey, he just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Sports wasn't that serious for him. At least at that point, that like I don't know who the kid was, but at that point to where
he made it right there.
To if he got better because he wanted to get better, but at that point, that's what he was at with it. And sometimes, as parents, we gotta be willing to accept that.
Right.
I mean, for sure.
And for me as a coach, as a coach in the fall especially, I take them all. I think I can help them all. I like to think that, even though I strike them all out.
Out there throwing that heat to them.
I take them all. 14. I have like 14, 15 kids on my team. Because I'll be like, if they want to play, I think I can help. The best of my ability.
I called Corey not too long ago. It was probably about 3 weeks ago. It was before the season started. And I was saying something about some coaching and a kid. And he didn't say nothing. And when I got done, Corey going to tell me, "What, Walt? You the coach. That's what you're there for. Coach him up," and then hung up on me. I'm like, whoa. It's no coaching on this one because he don't want to do it. Well, Walt, you the coach. You supposed to da-da-da-da, click. I'm like, man, come on, man.
Coach.
Find out strengths and weaknesses.
No love or nothing.
Give me that position. His strength might be sitting on the bench longer. So hey,
Man,
get him that one in and then get that action in and get him back out the way.
Yeah. But I want to say this to all the parents that's watching or going to watch later that has these ungodly high expectations on your kid that he may or she may never ever meet. I'm gonna paint a scenario for those who gets mad at your kid because he's a pitcher and he's pitching in a prime game. She's a softball pitcher. She's pitching in a prime game, and they off. They walking everybody, or everybody's hitting them, and you in the stands or acting a fool, or you a coach and you every time they come in the dugout from the end and you acting a fool, you saying this, that, and the other to them. So they'll just say they had a medical condition or they got into a serious wreck and that one arm that they was using to pitch with, they lost it. So now they don't have but one arm. Would your perception of your kid pitching, would it change? They'll just say your kid got ran down from carrying a football, and if he would have scored, that would have been a winning touchdown in the championship game. Or if he didn't get burnt for trying to cover somebody, and they scored a winning touchdown that caused y'all to lose the game, and he comes to the sideline, and you grab him by the face mask, and you belittling him because he got caught or he didn't catch the kid that scored, and he's out here on a go-kart and he flipped or something and it tear his legs up to where he's not able to walk at all. Would your perception change then? There's a lot of things when it comes to sports that you can correct. There's certain things you can't correct. The main thing you can't correct is death. Is everything that's serious to the point where you turn your kid down to where they feel like they're nothing, and so nobody knows when our time is about to get punched. Nobody knows that, and your kid at a young age, time clock get punched. So now you're having to bury your kid versus cheering for your kid. Would your perception change then? All these scenarios could take place at any second of the day. Nobody knows what type of illness we have growing in our bodies. And it could appear one day at a youngster that will easily take our kids away from us. So would your perception change? But damn, I wish my baby was here just so we can sit around and laugh and enjoy watching cartoons, going to the park, and not on top of her or his head because they made a mistake in sports. Some things bigger than life than sports. Sports it's not the main focus as we put it as. Something is bigger, and it is life. You able to walk around, you able to run, you able to, go out and do good things in society, but we always put sports on top of all of that. Now, again, we all have our kids here now, but we're not guaranteed to have them here the next second. We're not guaranteed to have them here tomorrow. So you might want to cherish your kid the proper way and stop putting all these highly expectations on them through a sport and loving your child while you have them because they're not guaranteed to be here tomorrow. That's all I wanted to say.
Build memories. These are memories. Enjoy them.
Yeah, like that can be good for them or it can be bad.
Make them the best.
With that being said, hey, I appreciate Coach McCown putting up on us this morning.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all having me.
So if y'all would like and share this live feed, maybe somebody out there that's a little rough on the edge when it comes to the amount of pressure they put in on that child. Maybe somebody needs to hear this. So if you feel like you got it all together, hey, that's your prerogative.
Right.
We're not here to change nobody. We're trying to give different avenues and way to look at things. That's it. You can look at it the way we look at it, or you can continue looking how you looking at it. That is what it is. We always say we're not here to judge nobody. So that if you want to do things a certain way, hey, more power to you.
Right.
But there are other ways and other methods to do things that might be more suitable for your child.
Right.
With that being said, if the Lord say so, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We're having my girl, Kari Ford, some ash down. She's going to come sit up on the couch with us tomorrow morning.
Home run king.
Yeah, because she on fire.
Bombing.
With that being said, this is the best sports morning show on this side of heaven. My mama said so.